podcast focused on trends shaping the future of manufacturing. I'm Alexandria Burek, your host, here with A.W. Schultz, two thought leaders with a passion for people and manufacturing. Today and every episode, we are diving deep into the advancements, sustainable practices, and dynamic changes transforming how we produce everything.
And now welcome Alexandria Burek and A.W. Schultz.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Back to the Future. I'm here with A.W. Schultz. I'm Alexandria Burek. And today we're going to be talking all about vocational schools, programs, different organizations that people who are either in manufacturing and looking for new young talent or interested in getting into manufacturing, some quicker paths to do that, quicker, more economical paths to do that. So, A.W., you got into this with your SMRP North Texas chapter. So first, let's start with what is SMRP, so everybody knows. And then secondly, tell us about the good work that you're doing there.
The SMRP is a Society of Maintenance and Reliability Professionals, and it's a global organization. It's mainly tied of maintenance and management, or those working in their ways up through management and engineering. It's an accredited certification that a lot of individuals try to get, and it kind of symbolizes that their knowledge in it. A lot in the oil and gas industries, particularly down in like the Houston areas or Louisiana. But for me, our chapter, we were able to start it back up, and I'm out of the Dallas area, so the chapter went idle for a few years, and it wasn't until a couple of us got together and we were able to bring it back. But we made it the North Texas chapter. And one of the tasks that we're trying to do is one, we're trying to build community within just those that have the certification within our chapter or certifications. But also is how can we give back? Because the one thing that we do have is in my opinion, a large amount of educated workforce that willing to share their knowledge with it. And one of the things that we did is we partnered with the local chamber in the Dallas area, and from there we've been working on developing some kind of relationship with the local community college. And this local community college, I don't think it matters, it's Dallas College, they work a lot with upskilling future manufacturing individuals. So the idea is because this area is predominantly within manufacturing, is they're trying to meet a bit of a supply and demand. And as in other episodes we've talked about where the United States is having a hard time filling a lot of these roles. Mm-hmm. One way is we can bridge that barrier is educating the workforce before they go into the manufacturing communities, because some of these manufacturing companies, they don't necessarily have the timelines to upgrade or pay some of the high talent that some organizations may be able to do, but still offer a more competitive wage than some different kinds of industries that might be out there. So what we're trying to do is have some kind of collaboration between what they're offering more in a technical aspect, but also keep bringing them up to speed on a business aspect of it. And for a lot of us, we've been having a couple meetings over the last few months on what does that look like, and particularly there is some incentives to it. So the community colleges do get deferred grants that are out there, especially in the state of Texas. And also I just found California has got some similar, but I do other states do that allow some of these students to go to these colleges for free, with the intention that they're going to be moving into the manufacturing communities and help support some of the job loss we're seeing, particularly in the automations.
That's so cool. I'm so glad to hear those programs exist. To be honest, with the manufacturing and just logistics scene in Chicago, I'm a little bit surprised that there's not some like fast track situation there. I think if there's any executives listening, and you're struggling with your recruiting or you're trying to find different ways to bring younger talent into your organizations, I feel like thinking about how can your company sponsor a program like that or offer a scholarship or something like that to, maybe people who went to public school in inner cities, different socioeconomic backgrounds, different geographical, places around where your business is located. Usually that stuff would be tax deductible or, would help in the tax area, I
Yeah.
would assume.
Yeah.
Obviously consult your accountants about that, but um, like those could be some creative ways. And I think it's also just like good when we talk about that automatically strikes a chord in sustainability, right? Like if we're talking about getting EcoVadis certified, by offering those scholarships and those programs to people who are maybe less likely to go to college, don't have access to the same education and resources, you can offer mentorship programs, you can offer scholarships, you can just contribute to programs and internships or things like that. And I would have to believe that by doing those activities and those actions, if you are EcoVadis certified, that would be something you would want to capture and, make sure is documented and known publicly, because it's good for the world and that's what sustainability is all about. Um, what specific, or maybe you do, maybe you don't know this, but do you have any like specific like career tracks, titles, certifications that these people are engaged with at this in these schools? Like if I'm a hiring manager, what are the titles that I would be hiring for in the next 16 to 18 months when these people are ready and trained?
Uh, Troubleshooting electronics, PLCs, robotics, industrial automations, semiconductors are
Cool.
what this community is looking for. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
And from
But
a
yeah,
maintenance and reliability standpoint, EW, you're always, very maintenance and reliability focused. So what can you share with the audience, like that these folks in these professions, like if I'm a factory manager, if I'm a manufacturing facility manager, why do I need somebody who's skilled in these things? And how would that person be maybe better than, or as good as somebody with a 4-year engineering degree?
well, most of the times they've got some of the field experience,
Mm-hmm.
so that's that's a kicker for itself. And um, many of these organizations will pay for this certification,
Mm,
and it's quite a bit less expensive
mm,
than sending them to a vocational college or a four-year college. And the returns are often very similar. And a lot of managers or executives that have this certification um, also believe in it and promote up within it. So that's
cool.
that's kind of that avenue. So that's kind of where it goes into. It's less expensive than a vocational, even though Dallas College is offering something for free. But it can fast track it, but it's a little bit harder if you don't have some of the kind of field experience onto it. But
I
certainly,
see.
it helps with the best practices that go within that industry.
So if I'm a factory floor worker and maybe right now my job is, kind of like a maintenance assistant, I'm helping with the maintenance at the factory, but I'm not the maintenance technician. I'm not the lead, right? I could go and get this certification at a faster pace for a lesser amount and then position myself to potentially be a maintenance lead without having to go to a 4-year program and invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in 4 years or longer if I have to do part-time.
Yeah, they offer a technical and I would say a management one. The one I talk about is more the management one. I'm not too big into the tech. I don't have a lot of depth into the technical one, so I can't speak a whole lot to it. But other than I know it's well respected with some of my peers.
That's amazing. Well, I'm glad to hear that you brought that to the table, and I'm glad to hear that there's that stuff going on. Hopefully this conversation will inspire, leaders of organizations in the manufacturing space to think about how they can contribute to, creating these roles, creating these opportunities for people. Maybe they'll, think about it from a sustainability, EcoVadis standpoint, and, mark this as a potential path to contribute to society and people's well-being in general. And maybe factory workers who are thinking that they've hit their ceiling have now just come across this potential opportunity. And you said the SMRP is national, right? So global, even better, global. So if you're somebody listening who's not local to Dallas, look up your local SMRP chapter. If you're interested in getting into this space, or you find any of these things that AW talked about or that we talk about generally on the show, but maybe you're not really interested or able to go to a 4-year college, this could be your fast track. And who knows, I think this will be the future of education. I think there's going to be a lot less people going to getting these long degrees in these well-rounded subjects. Not that I don't think it's important or interesting, I would argue it's almost a luxury to do that. I think the future is going to be very focused, real life certification training where you're working on what you're learning about at the same time as you're doing it, and you're doing it in a year and a half. And I think it's just because the pace of the world is just moving so much faster that people are going to have to be now all of a sudden robotic certified when maybe they didn't have that, that wasn't even a consideration 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So we're going to need these techs faster, and we're going to have to create these programs where they can do it in a year and a half time. So, I guess, is there anything else we didn't touch on?
No, we'll have it in the show notes for a link if you want to find out more about it, or if you want to check out the chapter that I was referring to, or the college, or feel free to reach out to. I'd be happy to help you on finding your next career path if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, one last thing, I guess we're open to guests, guys. So if you guys are interested in talking about kind of the interesting, career path you've taken, you don't need to be in manufacturing to come on the podcast and talk. We're pretty open to people of different backgrounds. Usually there's some way that we can relate it back to manufacturing, supply chain, logistics, organizational management, or organizational psychology. So if you're interested in joining the podcast, we'd love to have you. And with that,
this is Factory of the Future, and we are out of here like finished goods. Stay tuned for our next episode of Factory of the Future, where we're exploring groundbreaking techniques and behaviors that are reshaping industrial landscapes. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review, and help others discover the cutting-edge insights transforming manufacturing as we know it.